Everybody, welcome to Stockradar, Stocks on the Move for another week. Today's date is the 22nd of August 2024. My name is Richard Lee and I manage the Stockradar.com.au website. Well, a nice bright picture for you today. Move with the mood. The market's in a mood. It's going higher again. It's a sunny day outside here in Melbourne. We've got the blossoms happening. I feel a bit of spring coming on at last after a long winter. So feeling pretty good, and the market's been pretty nice to us at the moment, even through the reporting season. And we're going to talk a bit about that today. Positive thoughts this week. Gold keeps going on quite well. We've got a couple of gold stocks there. Newmont especially is doing quite well. We've added another one. So we've got a little bit of an exposure there, and the market's resilience after that sell-off a couple of weeks ago. The market's bounced back pretty strongly, but I've got to say I'm still wary of what happened a couple of weeks ago. That selling was very, very large. So on the overseas market, so just be a little bit careful. Keep that in the back of your mind at the moment. But for the moment, our top 10 is looking pretty hot. Some great stocks again. Aristocrat's still back there. ALQ jumps up there. Ansell had a great, the market took it as a great result this week. AUB fell and bounced back this week. CBA's doing well. CPU's making new highs. GMD's making new highs. AIG is sitting in a nice little trend at the moment, steady trend. JB Hi-Fi and PME, Prometheus have both knocked the likes out. Now this is about 10 of about 25 stocks rating a 10 at the moment. So there's plenty of other stocks in there that are doing really well. You go to Stockradar and you can see what those stocks are, and stocks that might be hitting our radar and about to come in. Okay, now the stock pick count this week is actually down 1 to 57. I think we knocked out 3 and we added 2, so a bit of a shift going on there. There's always things happening in the market there, but we have a solid group of that 42 stock picks there that are doing really well, and that's all we really need to make some money. So we're happy with the way the market is, even though the breadth isn't that good. There are still always stock picks for us to run with, and good trends to run with. And as you know, there are plenty of good ones there, and we're going to go through a few today. So let's just go to the overseas markets to start with. Okay, Dow Jones. Let's just go back to this one. Okay, Dow Jones. Here we are, making new highs again. New highs. Everyone's making new highs at the moment. But again, remember this volume, this huge selling we saw here, we did drive the price down, okay? So the market got a bit scared of that, and that was a 3 or 4 week run down there. So we've got to be a bit careful. The Nasdaq's making its run again at these highs, but still hasn't quite got there yet. The S&P 500 is making new highs. Again, you can see the selling here, which is in my mind. And we come back here and the volume hasn't been fantastic so far. So we are in a Wednesday already and the volume's not huge. So I'm being a little bit careful here, which is just the warning shot across the bows here with this volume here, okay? So be careful. Our market's making new highs. Well, what about that? ASX 200 is jumping through to new highs, even despite the weakness of resources. Those big stocks, those big BHPs and Rios and Fortescues are all dragging the index down, but the other stocks are pulling the market up and they're weighing. So there's more stocks going up than down at the moment in our group. So we're just wary of this at the moment. The ASX 200 is making new highs, and it made an all-time high back here. It's sallied around here for a little bit, came back, tested support, held it. All those sort of signs are good, are constructive. Okay, so the ASX 200 looks okay at the moment. Gold, well, it's just making new highs, just had a great run, had a little consolidation, broke out of it, run again, good volume through here, momentum's okay, and the moving average is okay. So that's fine. Copper, struggle city, not doing much, had a big sell-off and is just sort of sitting around here at the moment, not doing much at all. And same with Brent crude, just holding above its lows at the moment. These things don't interest us because we're interested in things that trend upwards. Things that don't trend upwards can be just ignored for the moment, and Brent crude really hasn't done much, and we really haven't had any sort of Woodside, Santos, or any of that sort of stuff in our stock picks at the moment. So, that's had a bit of a sell-off again this week, so who knows where it's going to go. Is it going to hold S1? Well, we'll have to wait and see, but it's certainly going to challenge it, I think, for sure. Okay, now, let's get to some stocks. We've got plenty to get through today. AUB is one that we saw last week. It's made some new highs here. Trend intensity rating is 10. It did have a sell-off this week and came right back down to around about 50, but it's back up. So that's a good sign. So we'll see what happens at the end of the week, but it looks okay to me. I think just a bit of a shock to the market there, nothing serious. Trend intensity rating is 10. It sits above the average. The price trend is up. Volume is good and momentum is good. So again, don't look at the detail, look at the macro picture. That's what we're interested in more often than not. So AUB, finally we've got an entry on this one, which was one we looked at for quite a while, but it's now broken high and we're happy with that at the moment. Rare Group, can be a little bit volatile sometimes, but at the moment it's being volatile on the upside and it's moving higher and higher and higher, nearly 220 now. So it's moving higher, holding the average. Volume is very nice. Momentum is good. It's made new all-time highs. So trend intensity rating of 10. Rare Group is going along fine. So what the news is, I don't really know, and I don't really care. All I care about is the price going up, and allows me to raise that stop again at the end of this week. Okay, so that's Rare Group. Another one testing highs is Computershare. It rallied through here to the highs and came back, and it's been really fiddling around for quite a few months now. All of a sudden, it's jumped again to try and test those highs, hasn't got through. So we've got plenty of selling here. We can see plenty of red bars here. The momentum is positive, and it's above the average. So we're just biased towards the upside here a little bit with Computershare. It is holding up okay. Trend intensity rating still rated at 10. So that's positive, and we'll just see what happens at the end of the week, whether we can get through there or not. Today's probably not going to be the day, but it's certainly trying. And we did see this big shallow correction back here a long time ago from this big upward move, which was positive, and it got straight back up to the highs. And it's still trying, but it's not coming back. The sellers aren't hitting this stock. If they are, they're not dragging the price down, which is a good thing. So I'm quite happy about Computershare at the moment. Still rating a trend intensity rating of 10. Okay. Right, okay, now QUB, another one which has made new all-time highs. We saw this one before. We know the situation when we make new highs. What happens is when the people that are selling at a high, once it is broken, those sellers have got to reverse their positions and become buyers. And they add to already fresh buying that's occurring in here, which drives the market imbalance, and which means the price go high. So that is generally what does happen more often than not. That's what we do. We play the odds of more often than not. And here's QUB making new highs again this week. And doing very well. Volume's a little bit tricky there. Some stocks just don't give us a huge amount of volume indication, but as long as the price trend is up, it's above the average, momentum is positive, then we have that weight of evidence that gives us a rating of plus 10 on QUB. So there's a few all-time high stocks that are doing pretty well. I said I'd look at Ansell for you before, and Ansell you can see now. We did get a little trend reversal here back here at the start of this year, around April this year. Had a little trend reversal pattern here off a kilo, which is what we like to see. And it's now fiddled about a bit, little bit of uptrend there. Let me just whack this up a little bit, and you can see some reasonable volume coming through here. Nothing startling, but it's enough to push this stock higher. So R1 is now the area about $29.50 that we're looking at, and if it breaks that, then we're looking at $40. So its trend intensity rating is 10. Which is a good one, which is strong. So Ansell is looking very good. It's had a nice little spike up this week. Remember, the spikes up to the ones we want. There are some spikes down, but not as many as spikes up for us. So that's a good sign. Okay, Westpac again making new highs. We're just loving this stock the way it's performed, the way it reversed its trend down here. This awful downtrend we had, and all of a sudden it's exploded from, well, it's really gone from about 20 to nearly $30 now. So that's quite a fairly hefty rise, 33%. So again, so it's pretty positive, and it looks like it still wants to go higher. The volumes are all fantastic. Momentum's back on its bike again. Trend intensity rating is 10. It's above the average, which is providing support. All those things you want to see in a stock is what it's doing, okay? So our protective stop is set. We've locked in profit. Now we just make sure we keep it, and we keep raising that stop as the price goes higher. Okay. So there's some good stocks for you. A couple of stocks I want to have a look at here. Incitec Pivot. Now, I don't know if many of you have been watching this stock at all, but I have been watching it. It's actually been in a big trading range. If you go back a long way, here, we can see back since, probably since 2008 crash, I think. We've been in this range. If we go back further, you can see there it is. There's the crash there from $10, and there's the trading range it's been in since 2009. And now here we are, still in this trading range, still trading in this trading range, but at the moment we're in mid-range. We've traded down from the high of the range. Normally you'd expect to get down to the bottom of the range, which it hasn't done so far. It's showing some pretty solid support here, which is what we like to see. If we're going to get a reversal of trend, we're getting a little bit of an upside, a few high lows here, which is a good sign. So I'm looking at this. I've got a little bell here on this little one. That's my stock alert position around 315. for IPL. If it can get through there, this momentum is just neutral, ready to kick higher. It's just starting to move above the average. So if we get a bit of price confirmation here above this 315, then certainly we'll target the top of the range. And eventually this stock is going to break out of this range. Now, I don't know if it will be this time or not, but certainly if it does, it would be a huge break. Because it's such a big trading range, and it should give a very nice kick from there. So it's certainly worth watching IPL. Maybe not an imminent one, but it's something to keep an eye on for the moment. We're always looking for trend reversals, things that are going to happen, things that are going to hit our stock radar and move into a trend phase. So Instech pivot, I think, is one certainly worth looking at. It does operate in that environment that, although at the moment the resources aren't doing that well, things may well pick up, and they probably will pick up, and this stock may be ready to partake in that rally. Okay, ARB Corporation, it had a pretty good result, and it's jumped higher. Let me just expand this up a little bit. Okay, so we can see we've had a big, we had a downtrend, we had a big accumulation phase which it broke out of up here. A bit like Instech pivot, we started getting these higher lows, which gives you a bit of a good sign that we're going to see a break here. We did get a break here. Unfortunately, we got stopped out here, just stopped out here. It was a protective stop. We just had to stop out because it came back too far. And unfortunately, that was it. But we are looking to get back on this one if it breaks higher again, if it makes a new high. So that's the strategy. We just protect our profit. We did make a little bit of a profit here, probably hardly anything, but still. We didn't lose any money, which is the main thing. And now we're getting another opportunity here. It may go higher again. Momentum is already above zero. It's above the average, so there's some quite positives there. This shouldn't be trend intensity rating of 10 yet. It's almost trend intensity rating of 10, and when it kicks higher, it may well do. But that's not quite right at the moment. I have to correct that. So ARB Corp looks interesting to me, certainly for potential rates up towards the $53 level if we can get through this 41 level to start with. Okay. So the stock we looked at a long time ago, it was a new listing type stock, and we were looking for this to get out of a sort of a trading range action, which it didn't really develop. It actually sort of had support here, and then it really just broke down below the support back in June of last year, and then broke $6 and trended right down below $5. And here we find a bit of support come in, as you can see the big green bars here, which is a good sign, and a good rally developed, so that's a good sign. It came back down. We saw some heavy selling here, which pushed it back not down to the low, which is probably a positive. So this really, no new low. A trend reversal doesn't have to have a higher low, but if we have no new low, it's still classed as a trend reversal. New lows is new lows, and we don't like them. It doesn't make a new low, that's a good sign. Then the rally developed on some pretty good volume here, which it's doing now. So again, this is just a building picture. Trend intensity rating is still -5 because the trend is still down, but it's building a base here. It may get up to R1 and fail again, but it's certainly worth watching this level for potential trend reversal at some stage because the signs are good. We've got the volume, we've got people buying the stock again over here and over here, so that's a good sign for Endeavour. And they've gone through a few ructions recently, which is maybe cleaning out a few negatives, I would think, and hopefully getting the company focused on what they should be doing and getting the price rising again. So Endeavour Group is one to watch. So those last two, well, Instech Pivot and Endeavour Group are one to watch. A2 Milk, oh my God, unfortunately we didn't get this one too right, but it did break down, and it's broken down this week. And this is the name of the game. Sometimes this is what happens. Remember, we're talking about running our stars, cutting our dogs. So this stock, depending on what happens at the end of the week, it's more than likely going to close below this stop. But I do wait till the end of the week to confirm the signal. And if it does, it will be out this week. We've got high volume in here. Momentum's just dropped down a little bit. We've got big resistance up here, so it looks like it might be a failure here. So as I say, this is one of the negatives. This is the one of the dogs we've got to cut if it's no good. So that's just the way it is. Unfortunately, these things happen. Okay, so that's A2 Milk. couldn't quite get over the line there. A stock that I drew attention to my members in the newsletter a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago was a little stock called NRW. It doesn't qualify for my stock pick group at the moment, but it is a little mining support stock. You can see here we've had a very big resistance level here up around it's about 320, 330, something like that. And we've got this again, this higher low sequence pushing into the resistance, and that's a good bullish sign. High lows, high lows, high lows. gets to the high, fails. Now this could happen again. It hasn't happened again. We've now seen a break. So it came back here, and again we saw this high-low thing again. So this demand kept coming back into this stock. And now we've got this break of this resistance level, which is a big resistance level to break. And I now expect, I hope we're going to get a nice move from here as we get that trading imbalance of buyers and sellers, where the sellers will start reversing their position to a buy, and the buyers will be buying, so you get that market imbalance, which must push the price higher, which so far is doing. We're getting a little bit of volume here, which is just starting to show up here. Momentum's good, it's above the average. So I think NRW Holdings, again, not in our group, but it's an interesting stock for you to have a look at because it may well have a lot further to run. And if you look at a couple of those other engineering stocks, there's an interesting picture developing there. So have a look at some of the other ones. Okay, new listing, which is relatively new, end of 21, it came on board. Judo Capital, quite a lot of excitement about this one. You're trying to create a niche in the banking market, which it seems to be doing. Excuse me, although it has come down since listing. So since about 2.30 when it was listed, it's come right back down to 80 cents, a disappointing start. However, what we've now got developing is an accumulation pattern, which is suggesting there's a shift going on from the sellers to the buyers. It's a slow shift as the market starts to warm to this stock, but we saw the jump yesterday and the market jumped through this resistance level that I'm looking at as a trend reversal point. So again, this is only covering my scans. I don't cover this in Stockradar. It's just for your interest, something to watch. But we've got what we call a sort of a shoulder, head, shoulder pattern, inverse if you like, or you can just call it a simple trend reversal pattern here. We've got a low here, a high low here, and now we're getting a break above the resistance point. So this is a trend reversal point. All I've done here is I've extrapolated up this range to give me a rough idea of where the stock could go to in a market imbalance, and that's up around 215, which is up around the old highs, which makes complete sense. So it looks good. We've got some great volume here. It's above the average. Momentum is positive. Often when these things happen, you get this turn, slow turn, this momentum index can turn around, and it's actually positive, which is interesting at the moment. And it's now kicking higher a little bit in response to that move yesterday. And we have this high low of support here and a nice little break here. So one for you to watch. And I think it's quite an interesting stock. And another one you might want to have a look at is Magellan, which has come down a long way, had a lot of trouble. Similar pattern to what we've got here in Judo Capital. Go and have a look at it. It's an interesting looking chart at the moment, as long as you can magnify the small bit at the bottom, because it came down so far. Excuse me. Still got a little bit of a niggle of that cough that I had last week. Okay, so that's the stocks I've got for you today. I hope there's some interest there for you. There's some new highs, there's some potential reversals. There's a couple of little stocks there you might want to have a look at. So just to give you an idea about what I do at Stockradar, there's a whole lot more on Stockradar of those 180 stocks or so that I cover. Certainly worth looking at, and some looking at breaking higher very shortly. So that looks pretty good. So Judo Capital is a good one. Now I just want to go briefly and talk to you a little bit about, we saw the market tip over a couple of weeks ago, especially the overseas market, and we took fright as well. And we've also had the reporting season as well, which is we've seen some good runs. We've also seen a few knocks. Now, when markets collapse or one of your favourite stocks dumps out because the market doesn't like the report, even if it's a good report, what we often can do is panic. And the first thing, the rule of panicking is don't do it. Okay, don't panic. You don't need to panic. You just deal with this appropriately. So I'm just going to go through a couple of things here just to put it in perspective as to how you've got to trade, how you keep your poise, how you keep your balance, and not get knocked off and start panicking, because that is the worst thing you can do, because then you'll make bad decisions. Okay, so it's about being in control of what you're doing. Okay, so firstly, don't panic. Second, it is an emotion, and what we're trying to do is get rid of emotions, okay, out of our trading. So that's what we don't want to do. Play it cool. Cool, calm, collected. Deal with it sensibly. Do the right thing. Do exactly what's right and follow your plan. Okay, it's a bit like I look at A2M, and I say, well, okay, this was the week. If it closes below that stop, I get out on Monday, and that's what I do. Okay, so that's just what the plan says, and that's how I behave. I'm a weekly trader. I don't trade daily, as you know, so I ignore all the daily moves, which to some people is a bit anathema, but that's just how I do it, and it works out quite well in the end, I've got to say. Okay, so follow your plan, stay safe, and the plan will keep you safe. okay, if you do the right thing, okay? Remember, losses are inevitable. They're a part of trading, okay? You just got to make sure you keep them small and don't let them get big, because if they get a little bit big, it's a hard thing to get that money back, okay? So we will make sure that we do that sort of thing right, because it's important to do that. So what panic? When things happen, don't panic, deal with them appropriately. Okay, just to put it in perspective from my stock pick count over the last 4 weeks during reporting season, okay? So we've got stock picks currently, 40 stock pick behaviour over the last month, the 42 stocks that I've got at the moment. Of them, 34 have been up. We've got some great stocks, whether it be Rhea, JB Hi-Fi, Wesfarmers, Pro Medicus. There's a whole lot of them that have made some really, really good gains, okay? There's 2 big losers we've got. Not big, but well, Yancoal is quite a big loser. I think it's going to be a big one. Unfortunately, they just cut the dividend without giving anybody any warning. That's quite a nasty thing to do. So that's a bad one. Unfortunately, we were caught in that one. And A2M is another one we have. But that's only a couple of them, okay? And you just deal with those as you see fit. It does cost you a bit of money, but we're making a lot of money on the other side. And in the end, the other 6 of those are pretty well steady or not doing much at all. So it's a good outcome. We play the odds, you know, of being right more often than not. And that's what we do. So remember not to panic and keep your perspective on what's happening. Don't focus on that big loser you've got, if you have got one. But remember the big picture, the macro picture is how is your equity portfolio performing. Okay. So, stocks on fire, there's plenty of stocks on fire. Move with the market mood, okay? When it changes, we change, or should it show the stock, the mood of a stock. Stocks all do their own thing, and so we just got to make sure we know what's doing. So, when I talk about the mood, I'm talking about the trend of the market, okay? So, what's happening at Stockradar? Well, firstly, a new blog came out last week talking about Stockradar's key message. You can go and have a look at that. You can take a free trial and check out all the other stocks that I've got on Stockradar and the ones that are hitting the radar at the moment. We monitor all your stocks with entries, exits, reversal points, stop losses, the whole bit, and then monitored every week for you. Every Sunday I update it, and every Sunday night we release a new report. So that's there for you to have a look at if you want to take a trial and check it out. Okay, so if you play the stock market game during the reporting season, of which we all have some stocks during the reporting season, there will always be winners and there will always inevitably be some losers. Okay, it happens. So remember, cut the dogs and run your stars. That's all we do. Cut our dogs and run our stars. This is an odds game of being right more often than not. So make sure you stay in control and don't let the market dictate to you what you should do. Do what your trade plan says and you'll be okay. All right, so I hope I've given you good stocks today. Make sure you follow your trade plan religiously, because that's how you build your equity. Okay, so watch your trends, heed your stops, stay safe, and I'll see you all next week. Who knows what it will bring. Okay, good luck. Bye now.